Hey everyone, in this session we're going to look at how to use Microsoft Excel to convert percentage scores into letter grades. If this is your first time here, my name is Reed Proctor. I've been working as an educator for over 30 years. The last 15 years, I've been helping faculty be better teachers. And more pertinent to today's session, I've been using Microsoft Excel for over 30 years to manage student data. All right, so let's take a look at what we can do with Microsoft Excel in terms of converting percentage scores into letter grades. Okay, here we go. So here's an example we can work with. This is dummy data. This is not real student data. But I've got, here's some student data that this is what it would look like if you exported it from your learning management system. Pretty much any learning management system is going to provide some kind of overall percentage score the student has in the class. And then, okay, this is an example of a grading scale. So the question is, how could I use an Excel formula to generate the letter grade for each of these percentage scores here on the left? Now, you could say, well, I could just manually input this myself. The bigger your class, so the longer it takes. And I'll tell you this, once you set this up, it'll just take you really a few seconds, whether it's you got 20 students or 100 students in your class. It'll just take a few seconds to create those and generate those letter grades based on their percentage scores. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go down here. I'm going to go down and create another sheet here and hit this little plus button. And I'm going to call it scale. So that's, you can call it whatever you want. I like to call it scale because I'm going to put my grading scale on this sheet here. And let me see, just to make it easier to keep track. So I'm going to use this example here, and I'm going to take this and put it over here real quick, just so we can look at it. Okay, and so let's see what we got here. So here's what you need to do. We're going to make a little table here. I'm going to say, call it low. You'll see the methods of the madness here in a minute or two. Low, high, and letter grade. All right, so I'll capitalize that for the sake of consistency. Okay, and I'll highlight these. I'm going to make this a little bigger. I like to center things. Okay, there we go. So here we go. So let's say, for example, 60 to 63. So that's a D minus. So you want to start from the low grades, move towards the high grades. So 60 to 63, and then the letter grade here is going to be a D minus. Okay, and then see, next one I got 64 to 66. And that's going to be a D. So I'm just moving up the grading scale here. Now, here's one thing, though, I need to consider, though. If I look back at my grades here, this grading scale is really just, to be real specific, it just has whole numbers. If I look at my grades, I've generated, it looks like they're all rounded to the nearest tenth place. So what if I have a student who falls in between, for example, in between a 63 and a 64, is it going to give them the grade that I want them to have? So here's what I would recommend. So here, if it's a 60, for example, but maybe a 59.5 rounds up to 60, so they would get that D. Okay, just below a 64 would be a 63.5, which would round up to 64 if you're just using a grading scale with whole numbers. All right, and so okay, and then so let's see. So for the D plus, instead of a 67 to a 69, I'm going to put a 66.5 to a 69. All right, and then that's going to be a D plus. I'll just do one more here, and then then for a C minus, it's 70 to 73. So I'm going to put 69.5 to a 73. Okay, and that's going to be a C minus. Okay, I'm going to keep working. So you want to keep working on this till we get to an A. So let me keep working here for a minute. Okay, and I got, so for the A range, that's going to be 94. So a 93.5 rounds to 94, and the high is going to be 100. Now, quick note about 100 here. In case you do give extra credit in your class, and maybe you got some A plus plus students who get 100% of everything, and they get that extra credit you provide. Let's say the most maximum score they could get would be 115, doesn't matter, or 110, 105. So you might need to put that maximum score for the A range, or whatever your top A range is. Maybe you do an A plus or something. You might have to go beyond 100. So you just want to make sure your scale includes every possible score on those lists of percentage scores. I don't think anyone on this roster had over 100, so I don't really have to worry about it, but it doesn't hurt. I'll leave it 115. Okay, and that is for the A's. Okay, so now let's go back over here to grades. I'm going to click on the grades sheet, and so I want to put a formula in here for letter grade. So I'm going to hit the equal sign. I'm going to use what's called the VLOOKUP formula. So I'm going to go VLOOKUP, open parentheses, and I want to click on this right here, 66.8 in this example. This is the first percentage score I want to convert to a letter grade. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to click over here. I'm going to comma. And now I want to go back and select the table I created on the scale sheet. So I'm going to highlight this area here, and I need to make sure I include low, high, and letter grade here. So now notice I am not selecting the column headings. That would be problematic. So again, I'm only starting at the first row where there's actually numbers and then the letter grade. Okay, I got that selected. Now, my formula here, very important here. Next step is, in another session we can talk about this, but I need to put a $sign before the A, a $sign before the 2, so it locks in that location, A2, and then C13, I'm going to put a $sign before the C, and a $sign before the 13. This is a very important step. And then I'll hit comma. And then notice here, Microsoft Excel is giving me guidance on what I need to input into the formula. It says the column index number. And really, the column index number is basically asking what column will that letter grade come from? The first, second, or third column. In this case, it is the third column over. The letter grade column is the third column in my table here. So I need to put a 3 here, comma, and then I have to choose between true approximate match or false exact match. You want to select approximate match. I'll get approximate match here. I'm going to close the parentheses and I'll hit enter. Okay, so so a D plus for 66.8. I'm going to look at my scale here. 66.8. Oh, look. So that's one of those cases, 66.8. It's in between a 66 and a 67, but 66.8 does round to 67, and so that would put in the D plus range, so my formula works. So I'm going to click here. Click where I input the formula for the first time. I'm going to go here, click on the lower right corner of the cell. I'm going to click there, I'm going to drag down. Okay, that's going to bring that formula down and input it into the other cells appropriately. Okay, so here's my percentage scores. I've got the letter grades for everyone. Here's a couple of additional steps I like to do. So if I click on the column heading where the letter grades are, where the formula was input to each cell, I'm going to click here, I'm going to right click, I'm going to go copy, I'm going to right click, and then I'm going to hit this option here where the numbers are, hit paste values is what I'm doing. So let me do that one more time. So I click on D, right click, copy, I'm going to right click, I want to paste options, I want to paste the values, click. And now if I click in each cell, notice there's no formula. Now it's just the sheer letter grade values. And maybe one more step, if you like to sort your data, I'm going to highlight all the columns. I'm going to go to data. I'm going to go to text to columns. No, excuse me. I'm going to go to sort. I'm going to go to sort by, I want to sort by current percent, smallest to largest. I'll click OK, and then there. So I can quickly see which students are maybe struggling in my class and maybe the ones I need to reach out to. So this is a quick way, relatively quick way. Now that I've already set this up, when I set this up for when I download the data from the learning management system again, I could simply copy and paste this scale, assuming this is the scale I use, each time. I can copy and paste that to the next spreadsheet for the next Microsoft Excel file that I need to do the conversion from a percentage score to a letter grade. So it'll be even faster next time.